So my dad got saved and he brought us to church. And every Sunday we went to Sunday school. There were days we wanted to go to Sunday school. There were days that we did not want to go to Sunday school. But you're not going to believe it. Every Sunday we went to Sunday school. I have a lot of parents ask me that. Mark, how can I get Billy to go to church? I said, put him in the car. You like sleeping inside? You like groceries? Get in the car. I don't know who that was for. It's not in the psalm yet. That's what my dad did. And every Sunday we would go. By the time I got to be a senior, you may not can tell this now, but I was really cool. I'm not gonna lie. And I was in a class with a bunch of guys, about 10 of us, man. We were 10 times cool, right? And when you're cool, there are certain rules. You can't act like you're being affected by anything being said. And then if it is getting to you, you just kind of look down, right? And Mr. Short was our teacher, and Mr. Short, he was not cool. I mean, his name was Mr. Short. But every Sunday, he came in there on his own and talked to the top of our heads every week. And he always came back the whole year. Every once in a while, he'd say something to kind of get our attention. Because we kind of had it in our head because we'd heard it before, maybe we'd learned it. Does that make sense? I've heard this one before. It's kind of like when you highlight a verse, you're like, okay, I got that one. I need something new, Lord. Right? Sure you do. Right? So he would catch us, and I remember one time he read us the verse about what God did through Jesus, and that because of Jesus, he's taken our sin and he's cast it as far as the east is from the west. And I hadn't heard that one as much. I remember that would get my attention, and then he got us. He said, you know guys, it's a good thing he didn't cast your sin as far as the north is from the south. You'd be in trouble. We're like, now we're listening. He goes, well, I'm just thinking, you know, you can only go so far north before you're going south. And you can only go so far south before you're going north. But east just keeps going east, and west just keeps going west. And they never see each other again, ever. That's your past because of Jesus. It can never haunt you again because Jesus has taken it and he's spread it as far as the east is from the west. And I remember him saying, you know, there are people in the world, there are people in my world that I would die for. And I remember him saying, is there anybody you would die for? I remember sitting there just thinking about some people, like I love these people so much, I'll probably do that. And I remember him naming some people. And I remember him saying, you know what guys, if it came down to it, and the only way you could live was for me to die, he said, I'll probably do it. He says, I lived a long life. I was like 30. Ancient, right? And I remember him saying that. I remember his face when he said it. He said, I've lived a good life. My family is good. They're believers. I would probably do that for you guys. He said, but you know what? There's not one of you that I'd give my son for. You just be toast. And that stuck with me. He said, that's what God did when he gave you Jesus. See, belonging to the Father isn't doing more for him. Belonging to the Father isn't fixing yourself. It's too late. You are unfixed. Writer language. Belonging to the Father isn't knowing more about it. Belonging to the Father is surrendering to the Son. And saying, I'm trusting in what Jesus did for me to make me right with the Father. I'm trusting in him and I'm surrendering to him as my King, right? Confess with your mouth Jesus is Lord. That means King. That always stuck with me. So much so that I'm sitting here 10, 15 years later. Because Mr. Short was not cool, but he loved Jesus and he loved us. He came back every week telling us the truth. planting it in our minds. Whether we wanted to hear it or not, we were getting the truth in love. That's good stuff. And it just laid there until God woke our heart up. And all it came, and it came out in us. Amen? That's where this song came from. It's called East to West.